This is the close of the Engine Performance Expo. Thank you guys so much for hanging in, and gals, for this so long. Hope you enjoyed it, but we're not done yet. One last roundtable wrap up. This is a huge undertaking, and we just want to pause for a minute and just kind of reflect on what's happened over the last 3 days. I kind of have that same feeling I used to have when we leave the ATC show. My brain is fried, you know. So, Joe, start with you. What's your impression of this whole event, and where do we go from here?
Well, I learned a lot. There was a lot of good information, a lot of good speakers, just a ton of information.
Well, that's great. I mean, if we can do that for somebody like you that's been doing this your whole life, then we mission accomplished, right? Because to me, that's the yardstick. Is that if we're just saying what everybody already knows, then we're not really being helpful. You know, Chris, you deal with people all day long on the tech lines and questions and stuff. What's your takeaway?
Well, I mean, this really, for this to happen in the last 3 months and put this together, and, you know, what I have found is, you know, the average participation people online has been almost 80 minutes. I haven't been able to go to a trade show and talk to one person for 80 minutes. We've had a lot of feedback from people as far as the overwhelming amount of information that we've been able to give. The old engine tech seminars that were years, the seminars that they used to give, we've had people tell us that we've blown those out of the water with the show. So the camaraderie, the ability to see the machines in action, the interaction with the people, it's been great. I think it's fabulous. And to be able to host the event and have people like Rottler and CWT and Liberty and Silver Seal and all these great people, it's been great.
Well, one thing too, Chris, is that you have a really good friend sitting right next to you named John Callies. And John, we just can't thank you enough for coming out and sharing your insight and your stories, because I've said it several times over the last 3 days, and I mean it from my gut, is that it's great for somebody like you to give back to the industry and to provide that wisdom and guidance and hopefully inspiration to the next generation.
Well, you know, this thing has just been wonderful for me. One, for all the speakers, all the information, all the tech stuff coming in. And I mean, I was watching it and learning a ton myself. And I think that's the fun thing. And plus, one of the highlights to me was Andy Rottler coming here and being able to talk to him about future things and how open he was. And of course, everybody here, it was just a great time. I mean, it was truly great. And to put it together in this, my hat's off to Chris and David and everybody that, you know, Tim, what a hero for us.
Oh yeah, it was a whole army of people that you can't see on camera that worked tirelessly since David, what, early September?
I don't even know where to start. It's been a road show, and it's been a divide and conquer sort of approach. But I've met a lot of nice people, seen a lot of nice people at a otherwise flat time, you know, really in the industry. As we've taken this and provided a venue that's real special and is educational. And I'm overwhelmed with the support that we had from everybody that we met, everybody we talked to. And it was just a wonderful experience working with this team and bringing this all together. So, and like you say, you have an Andy Rottler involved and the team that we had working together. Lake, you were unbelievable. Traveled all over the country. This is the James Brown. Never seen anything like it.
Well, the great thing is, as I think we can look and see in retrospect, this was an industry collaboration. Guys like John Kazi, Pat Musey, all these guys opened their shops up and took that time to do this because they care about the industry. They wanted something like this to be able to happen. That they just don't want there to be a gap, that there's just nothing there. That we say, oh, okay, COVID happened, forget about it. We quit, we give up. That's not the racer mentality. Racer mentality is find a way.
You know, I go back to where we started and where we are now. 8,000 viewers, average over 80 minutes. Okay, people are hungry for technical information, and that was the whole point of this, was to provide a technical forum and bring it all together. And I'm real happy with just everybody and all the support.
You know, the big thing to me is Chris having 2 young operators who are gray hairs, getting in, doing the CNC, and to me that was the biggest challenge in our industry, to get young people interested that want to do this.
And to touch on that, schools calling in and telling us that during Thursday and Friday, during class time in vocational machine classes, they actually had the show on and were letting their students watch the show and stuff. So, you know, reaching that generation and legacy that we, you know, coming up behind us all, I mean, that was great.
Yeah.
But, and the thing is, Cass is the perfect example. Sorry, single, yeah, buddy. But
But he is the youngest.
Well, yeah, you know. But there is it's the myth. I'm going to call it a myth, and we want to go ahead and bust that myth right now. That young people are not interested in motorsports. If you believe that, all you need to do is go to Bowling Green, Kentucky, and go to the LS Fest, and you will walk away a changed person. And in your market, totally different. But I mean, although I did see some turbocharged engines with diesels on them at the LS Fest. So they were in the parking lot, but they were there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, one of the issues is there's not a clear path. Unfortunately, okay, for instance, like in your case, like you grew up, your dad, I mean, you were the poster child for NASCAR. I mean, you were just like, what was it, at the ramen, you know, they used to have a
Right.
crib. I think that you had a crib probably somewhere in the
Well, they say there's cradle Catholics. I'm a cradle racer.
Well, the deal is this: there's just not a clear path. There used to be. It was your dad that was a machinist, and you just followed in his footsteps. There's been a break in that chain of events, and now there's this gap. So people go, "How do I get into this?" And I think things like this are eye-opening for my generation, that they can look at it and say, "You know what? That is attainable. That is achievable." Man, it gives a direction to where they go, "Well, that information is out there." And, you know, there are guys doing this. I mean, there's plenty of people out there that have no clue some of the stuff that you're going on to this week even exists.
That's true.
And then when they see it, it's just mind blown. It can happen. I can do this. This is a career choice now where it didn't even before. Where shop classes are closed down and you're not seeing that anymore, and you're seeing parts of that just kind of fade away. I think it's definitely necessary for my generation and the younger generation after me to have this information put before them so that they can, it's hard to get excited about something you don't know that exists.
Well, like you said, if you didn't see a path, it's hard to say, well, I'm going to go blaze that path. I'm going to figure that out. But the reality is, hopefully from watching this week, you'll see that there's things like this that can get you that starter knowledge. You can gain some vocabulary. But then there's places like Samtech, EFI University, where you can go from just listening to it and reading about it to getting your hands dirty and making it happen. And next thing you know, you can be in the industry. I mean, John Kazi didn't really mention it. And I mean, Judson and those guys are our sponsor, but they're also great people. He has several Samtech graduates that work for him. And he likes them. So it's, you know, so it's not like, oh, you know, there's millennial generation thing. That's not true. I think we can buy into too many myths, and hopefully this week went a long way to change that. I mean, Embry, you're a perfect example. You've got Jaden and all these guys back here working with you. I mean, talk about it.
I'm proud of them. I told them that for them to want to participate in the show and to get their feet wet in the industry and listen to legends along with new ideas on their side, I think it's wonderful. I think that's what brings new life to the industry, and I think it's going to continue on. Like I said, we're gray heads, and we've been stuck with it our whole life, and we probably will go to the grave that way. So, and I'm proud to be able to be back in the industry and to follow up and maybe give a legacy to some of these younger guys and girls. So, don't stop. You know, your ideas may be the new best thing that ever happened in the world. So, don't ever stop.
I think one of the neatest moments was when Jaden was with Warren Johnson. And if you remember what Warren said, he says, you know, we go to school to be doctors and lawyers. The thing about it is his generation is probably going to be the first generation that the guy that fixes your car or repairs your block or machines it is going to make more money than the lawyer or the doctor because
Yes.
they're the ones with the hands-on experience.
Say that a little louder for the people in the back row.
And that's what this industry and companies like Rottler, companies like CWT, Axe, Ultrasonic, they provide the equipment that these kids getting into the industry can take the products from Morel, from Dart, from ARP, AFR, many of our sponsors, and take that stuff, and those are the building blocks that they've got for career, and I think it's very bright. I think it's a very bright future for them.
Well, I wanted to say one thing is, Jess here lives 20 miles from me, and I didn't even know it.
Hey, you see?
Because I'm not into diesels.
Right.
But, buddy, we're going to get together.
Oh, I bet you will.
Yeah.
Does he need to go ride in the car?
I mean, right on top of the car.
Right. Well, that's,
He already told me I wouldn't fit.
You're petite husky.
I am petite husky, yes.
that's good. Well, you see, that's one of the things that this hopefully can do. And we kind of saw it in the chat. You know, we're here able to be together and interact and make new acquaintances. But hopefully, too, in the chat, that this gives the ability to meet some people. It was great to see Billy Godbold and John Kazi and Ben Strader answering questions, asking questions, answering questions.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Resources are everything, especially in this industry, because there's so many unknowns and there's so many things when you're going into engine building, whatever it is, it's different engines, different things that you're doing. The more that you have, and that's the reason why I mentioned ARA, because it's such a wonderful resource and they are such a wealth of information. But when you're new to the industry, you're trying to get in, you're trying to jockey for position, you're finding those resources of people that are willing to take the time to help you. And that's something too. This industry it can be a very intimidating one, extremely intimidating if you're, from the outside looking in, but it really is a very accommodating, they're very helpful industry where there's a lot of people that are willing to share and to help you along the way.
Oh, I agree. I've seen that when I didn't know anything, and I still don't know anything, by the way, just they're being way too kind to me, that people in this industry respond to someone that's got passion and drive. They'll reward that. They'll take the time and invest in somebody that says, hey, I care. I want to know. Not just stop at the basics. One thing you mentioned, too, about that next generation, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to do some prediction, right? We can all go around and predict what we want. I think that next generation has an advantage.
Oh, sure.
Because we saw all these machines. What's the common thread? Electronics, computer, software. They're not intimidated by it.
No.
The kids who grew up with iPads and cell phones are not intimidated by technology. They will embrace it, and the future is going to be that. So I think they have a huge advantage. The scary part, your boy Jaden, he's got it going on because he's right there at that crossover, being able to say, I can work with a guy that did it by hand, grinding it, that knows what grinding dust smells like.
And in the younger generation too, there's a little competition between those two boys, because Logan at first didn't want to be on TV, and then next thing after Jade went on TV, he was like, I'd like to try this. So I know it's intimidating, and but at the same time, I think it's wonderful. I think that's where the industry needs to go. I think John, myself, Chris, all of us here, Joe, if we can give a little bit of gift and a little bit of hand to them to give them an edge up, we'd love to do it. That's what life's supposed to be. You're supposed to will away some of your knowledge.
Well, you take Joe's building a new shop, so watching Kazi's little deal. What did we learn about dyno mufflers?
Cinder blocks.
Cinder blocks.
I'm going to order some up tomorrow.
And you even talked about the younger generation and going out to some of the schools and getting these kids that are interested. Yeah, it might be not the mass, but if you've got somebody that wants to do this, that's where. And you're invested in a new shop, so you feel good about it. You have to.
Yep. Aim on staying there till I can't go no more. So. And we have a young man that went to school at Sam, working for us, absolutely fabulous. Got a couple other young guys working there, so, yep.
I love Kazi's deal, and you don't even need cement.
No, right.
Yeah.
You got it. So out of all of it, Kazi's deal was fabulous about taking old broken tools and making something out of
I'm
them.
going home and buying a grinder.
Yeah. Harbor
Throwing
Freight.
everything I got, and I'm getting a grinder.
Harbor Freight.
Well, and I think that's the uniqueness of what we've created here is that not only those of us in the industry get to meet each other and spend a little time, but our customers have been able to watch this. And when was the last time that they got to ask Warren Johnson questions, ask John Causey questions, ask Pat Musey questions, you know, in 3 days, you know? And I've felt at trade shows that I've either exhibited or traveled to talk to, whether it be parts or equipment or something like that, I can't spend 80 minutes with Andy Rottler at Rottler, or David, or you know, Randy at CWT, or Jeff at Silver Seal, anything like
The only
that.
thing I'm glad is after Warren that I don't have a flow bench.
There's going to be a lot of things on racingjunk.com.
Yeah.
You better believe it. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, sure
You know,
enough.
so I mean, but that's a takeaway from this, is that, you know, this is a different format. That, you know, when you're at a trade show, and nothing against trade shows, because you need to be able to have that one-on-one interaction. That, you know, that's unfortunate we can't do that, but that sometimes you can't have that level of interaction with that person. I know if you go to PRI, you know, and try to talk to Keith Jones, forget about it.
Right.
I mean, because Keith is the man that everyone wants to come talk to about rings and honing and things like that. They're stacked 10 deep.
He's holding court, as we say. Yes.
Right.
Yep.
And he's on all day. So a chance to maybe next time get Keith to come up and do some more talking and stuff. The accessibility of this, you know, again, I go back to my buddy Gary Meehan in Warrnambool, Australia. There are people that are watching this from around the world that could not make every event. Something like that, where the travel, even in a non-COVID year, would be challenging. So I think there's something really kind of special about this. And the other kind of cool thing I was going to mention too is that, you know, yeah, Kazi's presentation was awesome. And I was talking to John when we were filming it, and I was like, man, John, this is great. He said, everything is a competition. I want to beat all the other guys.
Right. It is.
You know, that's how he goes. So, any other kind of parting thoughts as we kind of summarize this and bring it to a close?
You know, I just think that, you know, what we pulled off here was building an engine over the course of 3 days. You know, if you go to day one, it was engine block machining, crankshafts, all the way through engine assembly, tips and tricks. And to take each one of those steps, you know, we now can take this and put it online. It's available anytime, so really it's just started. So we're excited about the information that's out there. I'd like to say, maybe we can go around and say, what was your favorite part? Or how do you say what was your favorite part? At least say, you know, what was some of the highlights? And,
Sure.
And I can jump in there and say, you know, seeing Ed Pink and John Calley's, you know, you handing the Lifetime Achievement Award over to Ed Pink was a very, very special moment.
That's great.
Yeah.
Embry?
For the opportunity to actually have a chit chat with Warren Johnson. I mean, he's a legend. I would love to have the opportunity to do what he did, but you know, life is the way it is. But yeah, meeting people like legends and John Calley's and all you gentlemen around here. And I think it was a great opportunity that the AAM group got together along with Rottler to be able to pull this off. And I think they've done an outstanding job. And I thank you all for all of this. Thank you.
Well, I'm at an advantage than the people at home because I get to be around my friends, you know.
Right.
And, you know, I look forward to PRI every year, definitely because a gearhead aspect of it and the tech side to it. But I've said this to Chuck Lynch so many times, and Randy Neal and Ed Keebler and Daryl, and there's so many people there. But getting to be around friends and meeting new friends, and that's the fun part about this industry. Like I said, me and Mr. John, we're ready to get back home. We're going to work.
Exactly, yeah.
So
We're just getting started now.
That's right. That's exactly right. So, you know, I said the thing that I said about resources, and I mean, that's a huge resource to tap in. The man's a wealth of information, and he's made a very successful career. And that's one thing, if I can leave any parting words of wisdom to the younger generation, is that if you will look, the one thing that I've really been blessed is my dad was not in this industry, but he gave me a really good education in learning to keep your mouth shut, find an older person, and stay humble, let them speak, keep your ears open, and they're willing to take the time most times to help you along the way if you'll just keep your mouth closed and your eyes and ears open.
Yes, sir.
And I think that's unfortunately sometimes lost in the generation today. But my favorite part is definitely meeting new acquaintances, new friends, and getting to catch up with old friends.
Yeah.
So
I think we all struggle with keeping our eyes
Yeah.
open and
I know
mouth shut.
yeah.
I talk too much. So anyway, John.
I'm going to skip over and be the last one. You go ahead.
Okay. Save the best for last.
That's right. That's right. Just seeing Jaden and Logan at that generation, to be able to, to have all this knowledge in the building, and I mean, it was just, and to watch them, I mean, grins all 3 days long and just enjoying it, and like sponges, just taking, to see Jaden sitting there with Warren Johnson and actually, and telling Warren, well, I think I might do it a little bit different than that, and telling the professor that, and in Jaden's defense, I don't think he realized, what he had, and the professor sitting next to him, and I can tell you this whole. One little thing, I had a customer that is a huge Warren Johnson fan, and he texted me, and he said, could you get Warren to sign something for me? So Frankie Tuminello has a signed Straub Technologies decal with Warren to Frankie T, and tons of fun that'll be coming to him. And that's a special moment for me.
yeah.
That's awesome.
I was just blessed to be here, to meet so many new people. Warren Johnson, John Callies, all you guys, just see how, everybody does it, learned a lot. It was just fabulous just to even be part of it.
Well, it's been a pleasure.
Well, thank you, sir.
Yep, Joe.
We do appreciate it. And, for those watching, this is a first go at it. We really were, I think some people were petrified, Wednesday evening, how's this going to go? And we had no idea. So it came together really well. We think it came off spectacular. Is there things we want to do better? Yeah, I mean, we need to get Dennis Bourne, the guys from Pro Motor, who they won the Molloclevite engine build contest. They could put together a motor and have it running in less than an hour. So we need to get Dennis and those guys here. Okay, we'll do all this part and all this stuff, finish it up, let Dennis and those guys put it together and fire it up. So, but that's the thing. We can go get our friends in the industry, and that's what it was. It was an industry collaboration coming together to make this possible, and I think the future's bright. I mean, to me, the best part of this was actually not on this side of the camera, and y'all don't get to see this, but this crew back here knocked it out of the park.
Yeah,
this couldn't have happened
the AAM
without
group,
them.
top notch.
Yes, they worked extremely hard. I watched them run around. Whew, made my head spin watching
We had
them.
no idea.
No, I was like, wow.
All right,
No people can do
so
that fast.
Mr. Callies,
Yes, Mr. Cowles.
Randy Neal and I got together, and we had a great time, and all I want to say is, Randy, you
okay, all right.
I just have to put out there, let's acknowledge Lake Speed Jr. and
Oh, yes. Fabulous.
Joe Costello.
Joe Castello.
Yes.
So, hey, as we were doing the feel-good moment, let's go ahead and put together a little montage, a little video recap of what's been happening this week. So let's go ahead and throw it to that recap to close out the show.
we're going to pick the winner of the $10,000 short block. But before we do, allow me to just piggyback on the whole deal. What Cass was saying about engine guys and hot rodders and friends and the whole social aspect of it. You know, parts are parts, pieces are pieces, cars are cars. Without the human element, it's nothing. It's the people that energize this whole deal. And so I just want to thank everybody for inviting me to participate. Thank you, guys.
Oh, thank you for being here, Joe. You have been the star. You carried us. You made it all happen, and we appreciate it.
All right, let's get to the point that everybody wants to know. All you people out there who've been viewing live for the past 3 days, everybody that registered, you're all in on it. Mr. Lake Speed, do you have, you're playing the Vanna White role here. Do you have
Oh,
the
yeah.
answer? Do you have the answer?
Just a drum roll, please. You know, here we come. And the winner of the $10,000 short block is Steve Christofferson.
There you go.
So we will be in touch with you. So, Steve, congratulations.
Steve, congratulations. Great deal. Thank you for participating. I might even remember a question from Steve at some point, perhaps. But there you go. Lake, thank you so much. Excellent job.
Thank you, Joe. You too, sir.
And the maiden voyage was tremendous. And that is going to do it. The Engine Performance Expo, Year 1, Take 1. Great job. Thank you so much to everyone who watched. And remember, everything that you saw here is going to be available online for as long as we can keep it online, which will be forever. You'll be able to go back, you'll be able to share, you'll be able to rewatch over and over again, because I know there's just too much information in there to retain the first time. On behalf of everybody who participated with us, Lake Speed Jr. and the Professor and Ed Pink and John Callies and everybody, the whole Roundtable, folks at Rottler, all of our great sponsors, we thank you so much. My name is Joe Castello. You can see me on the NHRA Tour. You can listen to my podcast, WFO Radio, and all the podcasts that we learned about over the course of 3 days. It's been an honor to be here with you. We'll see you next time at the Engine Performance Expo.